Setting sail, we go behind the scenes with Alinghi ahead of their bid to retain Yachting's America's Cup. How rugby's legends are taking the game to pastures new in preparation for the World Cup. And we'll show you what happened when cycling came to the townships of Soweto. Welcome to Sportsworld, Al Jazeera's regular look at sport around the globe. The race for sailing's most prestigious prize, the America's Cup, begins on Saturday. Alinghi shocked the sailing world in 2003, winning the Old Mug on their debut. Now the Swiss team must contend with the pressure of defending the cup as they face a rematch with fierce rivals Team New Zealand. Sportsworld Carrie Brown went inside Alinghi to find out how the crew are coping with the weight of expectation.
Alinghi's America's Cup debut was astounding. The Swiss team swept aside favourites Team New Zealand 5-0 to become the first debutantes to win the Cup, the first to return the Old Mug to Europe since 1851 and the first to win from a landlocked country. Now Alinghi, adopting Valencia as its home port, faces its first defence. Skipper Brad Butterworth, who guided Team New Zealand's successful defence in 2000, has been ensuring the team is as race-ready as Louis Vuitton Cup winners usually.
Basically racing, a lot of racing, being in different positions out of the start and trying to win the races. And you know, we're learning a lot, and you know, or relearning a lot. We're sort of on our own, and nobody really takes much notice of us, and that's quite nice too. So you know, we try a bit of fun and wait till our time.
Time is nearly up, and the replay of the 2003 grudge match with New Zealand is upon us. Brad Butterworth was one of a famous number of Team New Zealand crew members who left to set up Alinghi. Following the Swiss team's crushing win, Kiwi Matt Mitchell also moved to Alinghi and admits it will be strange to race against his former crew.
I did the last America's Cup with Team New Zealand on that boat, so you know, I guess it's kind of strange, but obviously we had Brad and Murray Jones and guys like that in 2000, so there's some comparisons there, you know, the way 2000 was run, and now it's all kind of similar. And Team New Zealand last time was pretty different, you know, we sort of, you know, there's some people thrown in at the deep end and maybe didn't always make the right decisions.
The Alinghi crew certainly haven't been resting on their laurels during the Louis Vuitton Cup. They've been training hard and, crucially, gathering intelligence on their rivals. But what exactly have they learned off the waters of Valencia?
If we see this typical Valencia weather, the sea breeze, then the breeze is quite steady and you have very small wind shifts and little puffs and shifts coming out of the blue. I would say they are very difficult to recognize. You have to be very precise to use these little differences to gain advantage. And in New Zealand, the shifts in general in the Hauraki Gulf have been quite a little bit bigger and easier to see, and I would say it was probably easier to race there.
Alinghi, as defenders, enjoyed a head start over Team New Zealand with 2 years to adapt to Valencia's shifts and puffs. On dry land, a team of designers and analysts have been studying winds, tides and racing conditions. First to construct the boat and now to ensure peak performance throughout the race.
The navigator, he has all this information on his computer, and his role is to forecast the next 30 seconds and let the afterguard know, before they even know they want it, what the next information is going to be and give it to them.
The America's Cup, to the uninitiated, can appear a daunting event to understand, yet there is a simple formula to follow. The first seconds of racing can prove decisive, with the starter horn quickly establishing the racer from the chaser, much like Formula One.
Yeah, the starting is most exciting part of every race. So I think when you start ahead and you have a small advantage there and you have same boat potential, I think you will be able to defend that little lead and then make it stronger and hopefully win the race.
Bowman Matt Mitchell plays a key role. He ensures Alinghi gets off to a smooth start, directing the boat while leaning precariously over the bow. Mitchell admits he's been in deep water in the past.
Fortunately, the times I have been off, I've been able to hop back on, but no, it's not ideal going in the water, it's not the aim.
The bowmen also have the showpiece role on board, acrobatically attaching the sails and courageously scaling the mast.
you get used to it. Maybe a little more than you should at times, you know, because you do it a lot and you just sort of get used to what happens, and maybe you take some stuff for granted, and I'm sure that happens, but so far it's been safe, so touch wood, will be all right.
Alinghi's founder, Ernesto Bertarelli, was a member of the 2003 winning crew, serving as navigator, but receives no special treatment.
Yeah, Ernesto Bertarelli will be sailing the cup. Well, I think he will. I mean, no position is 100% sure. He is part of the back of the boat, and he observes a lot what the other teams are doing and gives some input to the tacticians.
Visitors may have been enjoying the Alinghi experience in Valencia, but racing enthusiasts are eager to see if the Swiss team can perform under the spotlight as defenders. Butterworth denies the pressure is now on Alinghi to prove their sailing pedigree, following New Zealand's own formidable whitewash of Italians Luna Rossa in the Louis Vuitton Cup.
I don't think so. I think it doesn't matter who is racing in this event. There's a lot of pressure on them, and when we get down to the America's Cup itself, there's a lot at risk and a lot at stake. And I think at the end the best team will win, and that'll be us, I hope.
Carrie Brown, Al Jazeera, Valencia.
The top teams in world rugby are making their final preparations for this summer's World Cup. It's shaping up to be one of the closest tournaments in the event's history. Two former stars of the game visited Malaysia recently, so Wayne Hay went to get their predictions.
They'd practiced for months to get it just right. And they showed all the determination and focus of their heroes, the All Blacks. It was a day these junior rugby players from Kuala Lumpur will never forget, being able to perform the haka, then watch one of New Zealand and world rugby's greats show them how it's done.
Brilliant, well done, well done.
This is how Jonah Lomu and former England prop Jason Leonard now spend much of their time, travelling the globe, speaking at functions and passing on their knowledge to those who dream of following in their sizable footsteps.
So for instance, I'm here, there, stop, there.
Did you know Jonah and Jason before they go?
It's great that we can get the opportunity to come around and show these kids, do a bit of coaching with them, but show them what a great game rugby is, and hopefully they'll pick the ball up and keep on running with it for years and years to come.
How are you? Okay, you're going to tackle me, okay?
Despite the magnitude of the day at the Royal Selangor Club, there is an even bigger rugby date looming. The 7th of September, the day the World Cup kicks off in France.
I do think the All Blacks are rightfully favourites. I think you can never write off France as well, being in France, but you don't know what side's going to turn up on the day. I think South Africa will be there or thereabouts.
No one's played for England more than the man they call the Fun Bus. Leonard racked up 118 Test caps and was also part of the England team that won the World Cup 4 years ago. But he's unsure about their chances of defending the title.
We've got a lot of young kids coming through, and perhaps we should be looking at the next World Cup after that. So I think we can get to the semis, but once you get to a semi-final, it comes down to a bounce of a ball, a referee's call. It could go either way. So England's got a tough World Cup coming up.
Lomu's former team, the All Blacks, haven't won the World Cup since 1987. In fact, they've made a habit out of being the best team in the years between tournaments.
You worried, therefore, about your beloved team, the All Blacks, and the fact that they played so well last year, and the old adage that they may have peaked again too soon?
I don't think they peaked too soon, because Graham Henry hasn't chosen his #1 team yet. So when you have two sides that go out completely different sides, you haven't really shown all your cards, and and he's trying something different. He's definitely said that he's trying something different because we needed to, and he's at the moment he's bringing the results, and hopefully he can bring the final result that he's looking for, which is bringing the World Cup home.
Former Australian prop Chris Handy was also in town, and like Leonard, he has concerns about his former team.
Australia struggled at the moment because of core strength in their tight five and the real breakout speed in their backs that New Zealand, South Africa and France are displaying at the moment.
France is attracting all the attention in the Northern Hemisphere. Playing at home, they're such an emotional group of people. Is that going to play against them to a certain extent, the hope, the expectation? Are they going to get too carried away?
I don't think that's ever worried France. They love getting out and performing in front of whatever stage it is, and sometimes that performance can be compelling and sometimes it falls short.
If they're running hot and if they start off with a great game, first game up, that effect could actually snowball and they'll become a completely dangerous team out there.
Put your national allegiances aside and just give me a winner this far out from the World Cup.
Oh, hey, I'm a pure supporter of New Zealand, so you know that's not going to change.
Jason?
I'll be the same. I mean, my heart says England, but if you're picking it now, and a lot of Jonah alluded to earlier, saying it's still a lot of rugby to be played. The favourites on form would be New Zealand, but you never know. Other teams can improve by the time the World Cup comes around.
Time for the real expert's opinion.
Who's going to win the World Cup?
England. South Africa.
New Zealand. You just did the haka then, so you must want New Zealand to win. What about Malaysia?
One day. Coming soon.
You'll be the Malaysian World Cup winning team.
Wayne Hay, Al Jazeera, Kuala Lumpur.
As ever, you can keep up to date with all the latest sports news on our website, aljazeera.net/English. Stay with Al Jazeera because coming up, we'll show you what happened when a cycle race came to a place more famous for political rallies.